Happy holidays, everybody. I hope all y'all had a good holiday, a good Christmas, good other things. We are back for one more chapter review of the year. Scans for chapter 1071 of One Piece came out today, and I wanted to talk about them before the end of the year. I know maybe a lot of this stuff could be better translated later, but I want to talk about it now. And I also want to talk about last chapter because I did not do that last week because, the holidays were hectic and stuff. And plus, it's kind of a fighty chapter. I don't have as many things to say about last chapter. Both really great chapters, but we'll talk about them both right now. Chapter 1070, honestly, one of my favorite parts of the chapter was the cover story. Because this is cool right here. I guess we are for sure doing flashback stuff, as we kind of alluded to last week. So now we get to see, Mads in practically their prime. It's so cool actually seeing all of them with the guns and stuff, like ready to fight, all these scientists, gathering for the sake of the world and all of mankind, peacekeepers and stuff with just fully loaded, like, it's cool. So we get to see a lot of these people when they're way younger. Like, we get to see Queen over here, which, we've seen skinny versions of Queen, but like, this is like a nice jacked version of him, I did not expect to see Queen looking like this. That's really cool. And we also got Caesar over here looking practically the same, a little younger, but yeah, he looks all right. Vegapunk got a big old head still, big old eyebrows. I can tell that it's like a little smaller than when he was on Ohara and met Dragon. I guess this was even before that. I can tell that it's even smaller at this point. Who knows if he had the fruit at this point? Probably because of the big brain. But and then we got Judge over here too, looking not too much like Sanji. Let's hope that he hopefully got most of his good looks from his mom's side. But a lot of people were, this kind of confirmed some stuff about his eyebrows, because we never saw Judge's eyebrows in Whole Cake, and everyone thought that he would have weird eyebrows because, Sanji's got weird eyebrows, swirl in other ways, and we specifically never saw his eyebrows during Whole Cake, so we thought there was like some big deal about it. But no, he's just got big bushy eyebrows, so I guess theory unconfirmed on that. A big shocker on this, though, is this mysterious lady who I'm pretty much just gonna say is Stussy from CP0. Looks exactly like her, has similar clothing to her, has similar hair. Either that or it could be Stussy's like mother or something, because she does look really young in this, and she does look kind of young right now in the current story arc, but she looks a little older too, so it could be her. It could be sometimes people just don't age that much. Some people age a lot, like Vegapunk, and then lots of times a lot of the women in the story, Oda will be like, nah, she still looks good at this time. Age works a little differently in One Piece. So it's good to see that So it's what the heck's your name? Wait, Sentenmaru, Shootenmaru. Oh wait, no, Sentenmaru is the guy right here. Shootenmaru is the other fat guy from One. Oh golly, I almost got those two confused for a second. Two big guys with Sentenmaru over here. It's good that we found out that he at least has observation haki and tried to block it. And I guess Lucci is just stronger, but it's not like he just got completely off guard, one-shotted too much. They gave a little bit of respect on Sentenmaru's name, but not enough for him to, get up and do a single attack. But at least they acknowledge that, like, hey, he knew to block it. He just wasn't better at blocking it than he could have been. This is a really cool panel of Seraph and Jinbei using the swim fruit to, he likes to, he's got this attack that Jinbei does where he like throws the ocean over him like that. So now he's doing that with the land, and you can like really tell because of the grid pattern on the land how it's all just going crazy. That's crazy how he's able to do that. He is way better at using this fruit than Senior Pink ever was. So there was a lot of talk about devil fruits in this chapter, about how you can make some of them artificially and how some of them are harder than others to make. So zones, he's got locked down. He knows how to make zones. We've seen him do that, and we've seen other people do that too with the smile fruits. Obviously not as well, but he can do that. Paramecia's, on the other hand, he has more trouble with them because they're a little bit weirder and trickier, but he's gotten it figured out through green blood, which I called it a couple of weeks ago, when they first showed Seraphim Jinbei about these little bracelets right here. I was like, there's something up about these. And I didn't hear too many people talking about them. Maybe they did, but I was like, I noticed that. That's going to be important. And sure enough, it was. So they can only use the paramecias because they got green blood in them. So that's interesting. It's interesting how he says that he's not sure that right now that these synthesized fruits that he's making can be awakened. It's interesting because what we've seen of Momo's fruit as a dragon, that means that dragon is not an awakened form. And all the things that Momo did, Kaido kind of also did. I guess we never saw a hybrid form of Momo, so maybe that counts. Maybe Kaido was awakened in his hybrid form when he was big and strong looking, but there's still no confirmation on that. I wish we just knew if Kaido was awakened or not, and if he wasn't, why Oda did that. We got a lot of fight stuff. I don't really know how to talk about fight stuff as much in these chapter reviews, but like, it's cool stuff. I love Year 5. I love it when he does all this kooky, quirky stuff. And definitely the best part of this chapter is this panel right here of him somehow imagining or creating these goggles so he can do a cool rocket attack with the goggles on. Why does he need them? Probably no reason. Just for flash, just for fun, just because he imagined it. This is like really one of the first times that we've seen Luffy do something that he for sure absolutely could not do if it was just the rubber fruit. Because if we're being honest, a lot of the stuff that we saw on the rooftop during the Kaido fight, a lot of the stuff like kind of makes sense for an awakened rubber user. You know, he made the ground and other things into rubber. He turned Kaido into rubber whenever he punched him. He just became giant, but he could like become giant earlier. He just couldn't do it as good, I guess. And like the big punch that he, defeated Kaido with, he's made big hands before. He did that in one of the movies a little while back too. So he did that with his foot in Strong World. So it's not like we haven't seen Luffy make a big fist and punch someone before. That's not really Gear 5 like Nika specific. But now with this goggle thing of him just imagining goggles and just creating them and putting them on his eyes, that's something that like we can definitely say that not an awakened Gomu Gomu no Mi could do. So I'm hoping to see more weird stuff like this for sure to justify it being more than just an awakened rubber fruit. Give me something more than just that, because right now that's all we've really seen. Maybe that's all that Luffy can think of, because Luffy still thinks that it's just a rubber fruit. But at this point, he should have figured out by now, like, this stuff that I'm doing right now, this is more than just rubber. So hopefully he kind of starts coming to that realization. So I guess that the Seraphim do have like some sort of personality and can talk. This is the first time we've seen them talk. We haven't seen the Seraphim Jinbei or the Seraphim Mihawk talk yet. We actually saw Seraphim Jinbei do like a couple like beep beeps and stuff. So this is the first time we've actually seen them have like a personality and stuff. So I wonder where this is going, if they're gonna have a will of their own and be their own people, or if they're always just gonna be robot clones who just take orders from people, or if there's gonna be a way for them to somehow be free of that, because that's kind of what One Piece is about, is like being free, so, and being your own person. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully they don't all just become destroyed scrap metal by the end of the arc, or by the end of the saga. I'm glad Bonnie's awake finally, because I wasn't a huge fan on them just being like, oh, she's scared of bugs, so she's just asleep now for the next, couple chapters. We don't want her to have to deal with her during all this Lucci stuff, so just have her be unconscious and then wake her up when she's needed again. So hopefully that wasn't too long of a time for her to be unconscious, but she's back in the story now, thank goodness. Because I've really liked Bonnie in this arc so far. I think that she's been a really good addition. I like her character a lot. I hope that she does more cool things. So by the end of this chapter, all of our heroes are up above in the clouds in the Sky Island part of their laboratory. CP0 has control of all the Seraphim, and we know that Kizaru is on his way, which is super exciting. It seems like he's on a ship going kind of slowly there. You'd kind of think that if it was more urgent, he could just use his light power, just get there quickly, the same way Kuma's doing right now, but I guess he's still taking his time. I'm excited. I still wonder, though, how many people are going down in this arc? Is Kizaru going down in this arc? Is Lucci going down in this arc? Are we not going to see either of these people in the final saga, in the final war that we know is coming eventually? So I really wonder if this is going to be it for them or not. if by the end of Egghead the Straw Hats have for sure taken out an admiral, that'll be a big deal. That'll be a big win on their belt. All right, we're done with that chapter. Probably could have said more. There was a lot of stuff I skipped, but it was mainly just like cool fight stuff, and I did like all that. I enjoy looking at all that, but there's not much for me to analyze about any of that. So we're just gonna go ahead and head to the next one, chapter 1071, which is the last chapter to come out in 2022. So we start off the chapter with Kuma smashing right in to the red line, which makes sense. Actually, it's kind of something that I hadn't thought of, because we know that the Kamabaka Queendom is just in the Grand Line, and like, sure, Kuma can, like, you know, hit people wherever he wants, but, you know, you can't get over the red line. It's a big thing. So even with himself, you know, he can really only move people around in that area. I'm not sure. I'm sure if you could go back to Sabaody, you could see whether or not where he threw everyone at. I know that Robin went to the North Blue, so I don't know if the red line was in between Sabaody and the North Blue and a lot of other things like that, but this checks out right now. This makes sense that he can't just paw someone across the red line, because it's a gigantic piece of land. Now, do we still think that Kuma is going to Egghead right now, and this is just kind of a stop that he's having to make because of the red line? Or does he want specifically to go to Mary Joie? Because what he's gonna have to do, he's gonna have to go all the way up, back to Mary Joie, and then back that way, and then back down, and then to Egghead. So that's what he's gonna have to do. Or is he just going back to Mary Joie? Is there something in his programming where he just still knows that he's supposed to be a slave to the Celestial Dragons, and that's why he was running back to go back to be a slave? If that's the case, then that's super tragic. I hope that's not the case, but that would definitely be an interesting direction to go forward in, because I still think that Kuma is going to be a part of this Egghead arc. You know, this is what this is leading up to, him getting to Egghead. So hopefully he makes it past the Holy Land. So right now, CP0 is trying to get up into the upper stratum so they can still fight the Straw Hats. Even though they're still technically not supposed to be. The Navy said, don't do it because you can't declare war as an emperor. But it's so interesting how Lucci is just like, I refuse to accept Straw Hat as an emperor. He's got such a vendetta against him. It's so funny. He is still salty about losing to him 2 years ago in his lobby. He still sees Luffy as this stupid, weak pirate that only got the best of him out of just sheer luck and coincidence. And I'm sure Lucy's just like, yeah, I know, we both got stronger. I can still take him. He's still just a chump to me. So that's super interesting that he's just like, I don't care, because he doesn't really care that much about the interests of the world government or anything. He's just out for blood. He's just a crazy person. He's very smart and strategic, but he's just a crazy person though still. I hope we get to see Lilith do something cool. She's got a big old gun. I hope the big old gun isn't just for show, Lilith. I hope you do something cool, Lilith. Do something cool in this arc, Lilith. There's a lot of interesting setups happening in this chapter, which is why I really like this chapter a lot. The first one is that we find out about a mystery character that's still on this island that we haven't seen. Vegapunk just called them up, and he's like, oh, of course, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. So who is on this island? I guess they still need help from someone. You think that with all the Straw Hats, and especially Luffy, that they'd be like, oh yeah, we got this, we're good. But I guess they still need some more help. But who is this person? They don't seem like someone from the world government, because they're like, oh, they'd have nowhere left to hide if the government's in their sights too, so they must not be a government agent. Are they also a pirate? I don't think so, because of the way Lilith acts around pirates. So maybe it's like someone in between. I'm wondering if it's someone we know. The snail itself is silhouetted, so even that we just have no idea right now. I'm sure there's a lot of assumptions. It could be Stussy. There's a good chance that Stussy was a part of Mads at some point, so it could be her, and she could be like a triple agent of some sort, you know, working for both the government and Mads, but also being undercover sometimes whenever she was in Whole Cake too. So, it could be. That is an option, but Probably not. I don't think it is, but that was just my first thought. Or it's some obscure character that we heard about once. Oh, maybe it's the guy that Crocus talked to in the cover story a long time ago. There we go. He's finally coming back up. All right, here comes the next Straw Hat on the ship right now. We actually got 7 more Straw Hats when you think about it, because they're actually all coming. My assumption is that a lot of bad things would happen to all of these satellites before the end of the arc, and most of them would be taken out. We've already gotten Atlas taken out. And, I bet that some of these other ones are probably going to go down too. But right now, the plan is to bring them all here, which, some people are like, oh, that's way too many. And then Sanji's like, as long as Lilith comes. And then Frank is just like, oh, heck yeah, all of them. Yeah, that would be crazy if they were all. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that all 7 of the Vegapunks are going to end up on the ship by the end of this arc. When I first started the arc, I didn't think that the actual real Vegapunk would survive through it, but now that it's becoming more clear that he is going to be joining them on their journey to get out of Egghead, I think that at least he is going to make it. I feel like having the original main Vegapunk and also Shaka on the same ship at all times is probably a little too redundant. They're kind of similar in a lot of ways. Lots of times Shaka feels like more of the real Vegapunk than the actual Vegapunk himself. Maybe that's the twist, but I don't see both of them hanging out with the Straw Hats for too much longer. Something's gonna happen to at least one of them. That's my prediction. The next big mystery is that someone turns off the defenses up here, and no one knows who. So not only is there a secret person that's on their side that we haven't seen, there's another secret person that's not on their side that we haven't seen too. 2 mysteries. Now that I'm thinking about it, it could be Shaka. We still haven't seen his face. If there was one person to betray everyone, it could be Shaka. I hope not. I like Shaka. I think he's cool. I think he's good. He is Shaka the Good. But, all it takes is a reveal of the mask. And it's just like, I was evil and not helping you the whole time. That could still happen. I don't think it was CP0. I know that Stussy looks a little sussy right now with this, but it definitely wasn't Lucci or Kaku that did this. They're surprised, and Stussy does look surprised here, but she doesn't say anything either. So it could have been her who did that somehow. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery around this character that has not had a lot of screen time. It's just kind of been one of the background CP0 agents, but all of a sudden she's getting a little bit more spotlight, and I don't know. I wonder what is going on with this character, when things are going to start happening with this character. Now, finally, literally 1 year later, it's crazy to think that a year ago, Zoro was fighting King. And then throughout the rest of this year, the beginning of this year, he was just unconscious for a while. And then he was, away from everyone else during the Green Bull stuff. And then for a lot of this Egghead stuff, he's just been on the ship, sleeping, just guarding the ship. So we haven't seen very much of Zoro, fighting or doing cool stuff. So right at the end of the year, very last chapter, we finally get to see Zoro in a fight, and it's with Kaku. It's with my boy Kaku. I love my boy Kaku, and he's in for it now. He's in for it now. As much as I love Kaku, we're not going to see a cool, I've gotten stronger, I'm an awakened giraffe now. I'm not giving those types of expectations right now. Oh, look, he's sweating right now. But they're fighting right now, so hopefully there'll be a good something. They've started the fight. We only got to see one little clash of them. Hopefully we get to see more in the coming year. That's what I'm hoping for more than anything else, is a nice little fight between Kaku and Zoro. I want to see Kaku getting a little bit stronger, but obviously I don't think that he's anywhere near Zoro at this point. But let it be good. Let it be good. Give Kaku some credit. Kaku's cool. They keep teasing this with Bonnie asking Vegapunk to turn him back to normal, and he's like, sorry, I can't, which I don't know if that's the first confirmation. That's kind of what we've figured, that no, I can't just turn him back into normal at this point. But he's like, there's a reason for that. And I'm like, oh, to tell us already. I am very, very ready to hear what went down with Kuma. I need to know the truth. There's a lot of he said, she said stuff about Kuma, but I need to know the truth. I need to know it very soon. And you think that that would be enough like crazy stuff to happen in this chapter, but no. What happens next is that we move out of Egghead. We're done with Egghead in this chapter, by the way, and then we get to see Killer and Kid. Like, we are going everywhere. The Final Saga is not wasting any time with nothing. We are eating. We get it all. We get the Killers and Kid, and they're going to Elbaf. That's crazy. They've made it to Elbaf, which is what a lot of people were predicting. We all expect Elbaf to be the next big arc, which I'm hoping that it is a big arc, because the Egghead arc was like the good, like in between small arc, but we need another like chunkier sized arc after this, especially because of how fast Egghead is going. Like, we're already like leaving Egghead at this point, which is like, dang, they were even Luffy was like, oh man, we're leaving already. But nah, Elbaf is the one that we've been waiting for ever since Little Garden back in the Alabasta saga. You know, that must have been more than 20 years ago at this point that we've heard of Elbaf, and finally we got someone going to it in the present. We're gonna go there too, probably next, hopefully next. Woo, that'll be good. And we get to see Kid, which is good too, because he had some good character moments and some like cool fight moments back in Wano, but like he didn't have like a nice like character arc or nothing really. Definitely nothing along the lines of like what we got with Law back in Dressrosa and Punk Hazard and all that. So if we can get a little bit more good stuff out of Kid in this next arc, that'll be really good. A lot of people will like that. I'm sorry, you thought that we were done with this chapter? No, because we get another chapter with all of the sword members that we just met like this year, and we got the reveal that good old Garp is heading to Hachinosu to go save Kobe. Heck yes, this is what I wanted. Like, we weren't sure like who was gonna go and save Kobe. Someone's gotta go save Kobe. Is it gonna be the Straw Hats? No, I don't think the Straw Hats are gonna I don't even think that Luffy knows that Kobe got captured. I'm sure that if he found out, he would have been like, Kobe's strong, he'll figure it out, you know? We're not gonna go out of our limb to go save a Marine or anything like that. So the fact that Garp is going there and has a nice attitude about it too, that makes me happy. That makes me excited. Garp is more of a better father figure to Kobe than he ever was to Luffy. So that's crazy. You see, Garp will go out of his way to save his child if his child is a Marine. You know, if he's a dirty pirate like Ace or Luffy, then it's just like, can't do nothing. My hands are tied. But when he finds out that his boy Kobe is in trouble, he's like, oh, my good Marine boy. I'll go help him. I'll go help him out. Yeah, thanks, Garp. It's good to see Garp back in the actual story. You know, we saw him back in Reverie, you know, kind of just chaperoning the fishmen, but he didn't do too much. He was just kind of there to be there. But if we get a good fight between Blackbeard and Garp, that's going to be another crazy thing. Who would even win in that? You know, we haven't seen, you know, Garp in a real good fight in a while. And Blackbeard, we've seen Blackbeard do some crazy stuff. We just saw him take on Law. We don't know how that ended, but if they're already heading to Beehive Island to go take on Blackbeard, then that means that Law is probably got off screen, which is like, you know, some people are like, me? I'm like, But if we get to see Garp do cool stuff, that'll be cool. And if Blackbeard takes out Garp, then I don't even know what Luffy will think. Luffy probably won't care too much. Well, he will. He'll probably be angry at both of them, in all honesty. He's not going to go out of his way to save his grandpa or nothing. He'd go out of his way more to save Kobe than his grandpa. But I don't know. It's still exciting that we get to see Garp back in the fray doing some stuff. He's like, oh, Helmeppo, come and help us take out Garp. So I don't know how much help Helmeppo is going to be against the Blackbeard pirates. Of course, we said that about Law's crew, and then Law's crew did like something. They did the bare minimum. So if we get to see Helmeppo do the bare minimum in a couple of chapters from now, then that'll be cool. That'll be a cool 2023 of One Piece, I do declare. But yeah, really good chapter. Like, very good way to end the year, unofficially, technically. I know the officials come out next year, but whatever. I wanted to talk about it today. I wasn't feeling talking about last chapter that much because it was mainly just fight stuff, but I think I was able to say good things about both of them this week. I don't know if I'll keep doing these weekly things. Sometimes it's easy for me to do it like in chunks at a time, especially when I don't have as much to say about one chapter some weeks. So sometimes doing it like this is a little easier for me to do. But I also want to make some other One Piece videos too. I may have a couple more in the works, as well as some other gaming videos as well, that hopefully we'll see more of next year in 2023. I'm going to keep trying to make these videos in 2023. I'm going to try my best. But I hope y'all had a very nice holiday season, and I hope that 2023 goes well for all of y'all. Y'all have a happy holidays and a happy new year from Nate's Logic. I'll see y'all around. I do declare.